Here, I'm ready to pay you. If you haven't gotten your shirt, see Sharon. If you need to pick up the shirt, see Sharon and get your repeal the meal tax. It's important that we send a unified message. Just a little bit of social media before we really jump in here. This stuff is working, okay? And don't get distracted with the Virginia Beach Restaurant Association's message of walking this thing back, okay? I have asked publicly, privately, I'm going to say it here tonight, if the members of the board, particularly, but any members of the Virginia Beach Restaurant Association, I would like to know, are they a part of that P3 foundation that owns the Wade Park? Do they have other interests? Do their partners? So let's say you and I own a restaurant together. I may not have any private public partnership interests, but you can have other businesses. And I'm on the board of the Virginia Beach Restaurant Association. Am I looking out for my friend to get their private public partnership back? That's all I'm asking. Anybody that wants to make a deal, and I'm going to tell you, I've been at this over 15 years, working with 30 politicians and organizations that say they represent you, but they don't. And in all of my history, there are two people that are far more experienced in politics than me, and that's Gary Byler and another gentleman named Russ Moulton. And both of them did not know that they told me this while they were showing me how this stuff works. So I was a good student for those two. And every time they said when they want to make a deal, when they come to you and they want to make a deal, it's because they know they're losing. It's because they know you're winning and they have to make a deal to try and save face and they're hoping you'll capitulate. So I want you to know, the more they talk about making a deal and walking it back, and we're just going to do a little bit at a time, and hopefully over years we'll get rid of this meal tax, that's hogwash. You guys, these petitions are working. They are coming in, and we are doing well with them. I have said to everybody, we are not going to give our numbers publicly. The board knows our numbers, and they have been sworn to secrecy, plus they've signed an NDA to the party. They have. And I'll make Gary sue them, which I can't make Gary do anything. But I just want you to know there's a strategy as to why we're not saying that. They don't think, look, we're living rent free in their head. Why take that away? Why take away your leverage? They are spinning tops right now. It's ironic that the Virginia Beach Restaurant Association came out with their yet again walk it back, repeal the meal tax, only, repeal a little bit of it, don't repeal all of it, right after city council got blown up. And it wasn't just by me. The proverbial blow up was by almost every citizen. I think two are the exception that got up there and supported this deal because somebody wants a good daycare. I don't buy daycare because it's close to my home. That's a bonus. But I'll drive 10 miles out of my way to leave my kid with somebody I trust. So just because you've got bells and whistles in a daycare does not mean you're in a good daycare. The daycare is made up by the people that are hired to run it. And right now, I'm going to be extremely scrutinizing over anybody that would watch my kid. And I don't care what color you paint your walls inside. Sure.
We were there collecting signatures, circulating the crowd, and the talk was city council and this golf course proposal. A lot of people are upset. They don't like it, and they signed our petitions.
Hey, girl, let me tell you, I've been to the Why Not Wednesday, which you all know. Every time the people from Portsmouth and Chesapeake and Norfolk that are there, they want to sign our petition too, but I'm like, sorry, you can't help us. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support. Can you help us collect some petitions? Because you can do that. And you can donate. Newport News is watching us, according to Teresa Land. I think everybody across the state is watching us. Because I'm going to tell you, there was a gentleman years ago, his name was Ken Cuccinelli, running for governor. And whatever you think about Ken, you like him, you don't like him, you like Trump, you don't like Trump, whatever. That's not the case. At the time he was running for governor, we were the first group that he spoke to once he announced his governorship race. The very first group. And the room had 200 people in it. We were in the library. We were like, we've got the governor's candidate. And that was a big deal for us. I felt like it was. But in his speech, and Diane, I don't know if you remember this, you were in the room. But in his speech that night, he said some of the worst legislation in Virginia comes from southeastern Virginia. Where are we at?
Southeastern Virginia.
Southeastern Virginia. So if you think the rest of the state ain't watching what's going on here tonight, believe me, they are. Believe me, they are. And by the way, the rest of the state needs to know that our city council just voted for someone to get, gap bond funding for their hotel that they're going to buy at the oceanfront.
They're going to renovate.
They're going to renovate it, and they're getting gap state bond funding. So state. So let me tell you, you think that this problem is just in Virginia Beach? We have bled over our borders, and now everybody in the state of Virginia is going to help them pay for that hotel. Just saying, if it's a good hotel, it's a good business deal, then they should pay for it, not us. That's where I'm at with all of these private-public partnerships. We don't need to fund private-public partnerships. It is an abuse of our tax dollars. So that said, if you haven't seen the videos and you're on social media, I want to encourage you guys. You can go to the Tea Party Facebook page. You can go to my personal page, Virginia Freedom Caucus page. I post all of these videos in 5 different places. And it is incredible, the feedback. Diana just announced just before we kicked off the meeting that the one view from City Council is ticked off at Waverly. They are mad and wet for it. But I'm just telling you, this here's the smallest violin it's playing just for them. And they had it coming. There was nothing rude, but it was absolutely direct. And we are winning the conversation. People are supporting us. Look at the comments that are made under our videos. They are supporting us. The community supports us. There's even a couple of people that commented, I wish I could sign your petition. So with that, I just want to say thank you all for your effort. Don't stop. Don't, just because it's 120 degrees and we're sitting on the equator, right? It's hot. And me and Buddy were out there. And that's the other thing I need to tell you. So Buddy's been my wingman for most of these videos. Jenny Pasteris did it one time. And so I'm doing this P3 thing, and that they got this P3 foundation with the Wave Park is at a PO box and a package ship in Denver, Colorado. And Jenny's just holding the microphone. As soon as she hears, or the camera, as soon as she hears me say that, and so I couldn't use that video. Because I got Jenny going, no, leave that. She's like, the camera's in that. So Buddy's back on the job. But I also want to say, he can't give a substitute. He's stuck. But the other thing is, I want to say I'm glad Buddy is with me because he's concealed carry. One of the times we were out there, employee of Wise Guy Pizza came out to heckle us and harass us on his little beach cruiser, cruising up behind us and screaming into the microphone behind. I want to say, we didn't know any of that in the beginning, but when you looked at the video afterwards, because this thing is on, I just turned and started recording him. And he's screaming, oh, you don't have any social media. Nobody's watching you. Really? What was that number, Diana?
33,000.
Yeah, I don't know.
And still going.
And still going. And it's over 700 reactions. So I'm just asking. I don't know. I've never had that much media attention. So, but anyway, his t-shirt says Wise Guy Pizza. And that place is inside of the Wave Park Guess who owns Wise Guy Pizza? Oh, you can't say the answer. Guess who owns Wise Guys Pizza? Nope. That's a good guess. Who? Rosemary? Nope. Oh, anybody give up? Nope. Bingo! It says Thompson Hospitality. Buddy looked it up when we were in the car and it said Thompson Hospitality owns Wise Guy Pizza. I just want you to know, you tell me. Is that last name doesn't ring a bell to you?
Cavalier,
Bill, where you at?
the Cavalier, 31st Street, yeah.
Poor Bill. Bill's getting older now, don't pick on him. So I just want you to know, Thompson Hospitality owns Wise Guys Pizza. And I want to say that guy was pretty aggressive. I still have the video of him. And I think he would have tried to intimidate, not that I can do that, but you know, could give him an A for effort. But I think that some of these people are this is only gonna get worse. So I was really glad Buddy was there. Because he would have definitely been a barrier should the guy have wanted to make it worse. And again, I have it all on video, so bring on the rain. But that's what we're facing. That's what we're facing. They hear and see this. Don't accept a deal. We're winning. Don't accept a deal when they are putting out all of this narrative, but they won't answer the question of who's involved with all these private-public partnerships. And it's not going to end here. In my latest video today, I was at that June 16th meeting, June 2026, and they're talking about developing Lansdowne. And Rosemary Wilson has said there's all that undeveloped area. Those are her exact quotes. And in that meeting, which is a public meeting, and as long as Josh Schulman's person hasn't edited the video, I have the raw video that I took myself of the meeting. So, but I understand Josh Schulman has put out some videos that have been edited to make sure any complaints are not in the video. You just wonder if he's using these town halls to promote themselves. At any rate, I have that video, and Rosemary said that. And they were applauding themselves to ad nauseam. I'm telling you, in their meetings, they are desperate to create the narrative that they're doing great, that everything's fine. Don't listen to those Tea Party people. They're all right-winger, crazy. You know, they're not telling you the truth about the money, blah, blah, blah. But we got the receipts. And there's more receipts coming. I'm going to tell you, there's another whopper coming out. I can't tell you what it is, but believe me, I got some receipts. And that's going to be coming out in next week or the week after. But there's more and more to all of this. So don't give up hope. I want to tell the community that may be watching, don't give up hope. Just keep staying strong in the narrative that this tax needs to be 100% repealed. And in our petition, it says they can't bring it back. So read the petition if you haven't read that yet. But it says we want the city's portion of the meal tax repealed 100%, and they can't bring it back. And they're going to say, oh, well, you can't hold future city councils to this, and you can't hold it. Yes, you can. It's called the law. That's right. It's the Constitution. So don't buy any of their narratives. Yes. Bye, Felicia. Hey, you know what they said on Hee Haw? Don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you. Good. So guess what? It's a private-public partnership where they're getting performance grants. Now, again, I've said this a lot, but I'm going to keep repeating it. What is a performance grant? It is where your entity, this is your wave park, collects all this tax revenue, whether it's for parking, meals tax, service tax. They're certainly not collecting real estate taxes. They're only paying $1 a year for that. But whatever revenue that you create for the city all year long, you pay it all year long. But at the end of the year, you get your little performance grant form and you fill that out and you submit it to the city, and all that tax money comes back to you. So how are they paying taxes on anything? How is this money helping schools and firefighters and first responders and the police? And, and in that one video I told you, they didn't even pay their water bill. Who paid that water bill? So this is what we get stuck with these private-public partnerships. This is what these private-public partnerships, and this is not getting any prettier with the Dragas deal. That's where the ugly girlfriends are. Right. So, and I'm going to come out and tell everybody what they're doing over at Lansdowne too. So this isn't over with this meal tax. That's what you need to know. We need the public to understand that this is one situation. We got to get people on city council like Chris Taylor, who will get the information and publish it to us. Thank you, Chris Taylor. If you're out there in Never Never Land, thank you, thank you. So, with that, we had a speaker. Apparently, she's not here. I don't know what happened to her. She and I talked earlier, and she was all good. So something may have tragically happened. But I did ask Venkat. Hey, kids, come on in. I did ask. I want to say Venkat is a former member of the Republican Party of Virginia Beach, and he's also a former member of State Central representing the 2nd District. And when he saw how the dirty dealings were coming out of the Republican Party of Virginia Beach, he threw in his hat, he resigned his membership and his State Central position, and I think he's joining the militia. So I want to thank Venkat because, and here's the other thing we need to know. Venkat did the presentation Monday night at the public library. If you guys had the chance to go there. As soon as that thing was over, I went right over to Venkat. I said, I need you to come Thursday night. I need you to do this presentation. I'm going to give the rest of the speaking time to him and to do what he did Monday night. But ironically, again, there's 100 people in the room. Do you think Stacey Cummings had all of those figures and facts because Venkat just jumped up there and started speaking? Or you think there was a rat in the room that went and gave city council a heads up to what Venkat had talked about? You can't look, I'm going to tell you right now, Venkat did pull those numbers up in 10 minutes or 3 minutes, because that's how long Venkat got to speak. It was 3 minutes. So I can tell you right now, Stacey Cummings didn't have his collective thoughts together to challenge Venkat at city council. So my hats off and applause to Venkat for taking them on. And not only did he take them on, but he stood his ground. And it was a back and forth where Stacey Cummings is literally trying to sell the idea that someone living in Kempsville is going to move to one of Dragas's condos on the golf course. Because that's what you're going to do. You're going to move from maybe a home that you've already paid off to going to pay for a new mortgage. That's his reasoning. So, and I don't dislike Stacey Cummings personally. This is not a personal account, but folks, it's not Common Core, it's common sense. Okay, so with that, I want Venkat, come on up. I want him to give it. He's a PhD and all kinds of stuff. His credentials are long.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity and share my views. So as I said on Monday, the reason I'm doing it is I'm a fiscal conservative, just like you guys, and the only thing I care about is are the taxpayers' money being spent properly. That's my only reason for it. I don't have any financial motive in this. I'm not even running for office at one point. Running for office Only reason I'm doing this is to say, hey, are the taxpayers getting a fair share? That's all I did. I looked at the numbers and I felt like they were trying to pull a fast one on us. That's what I wanted to expose them. I asked them on Tuesday, and the way Stacy reacted to me tells me that they are worried. Okay. So some basic facts of the deal. The total cost of renovating this golf course is $38 million. Again, what city's numbers. Out of which the city will contribute a total of $19.8 million. How? It gives 17.94 million upfront, plus the BPDA gives another 1.82 million. So out of the 38 million, 19.4 million comes from the city, meaning our money. Okay? And then Dragus puts in the rest of the money of 18.4 million. Got that out of 38 million, more than 50% comes from our money. But here's the kicker. Dragus keeps 100% of the profits. All the money they're going to make on the golf club, every admissions, I don't know what all fees they're going to make. Everything, 100% of the profits goes to Dragus. City doesn't get anything out of that. And then on the top of it, the city will spend $7.9 million in infrastructure within the golf club. It's a private golf club. Within the golf club, for roads, whatever, storm sewer, everything, it's going to be $7.9 million. The city is going to promise them they're doing. Then what does the city get? Turns out, out of this golf club area, of those 350 acres, they have set aside 42 acres where they allowed Dragus to build 659 housing units, condos, basically. And then out of the 659 condos, there was some property taxes, 3.4 million. The city says, oh, that's the money we're going to get. We get nothing from the golf club. We're going to discount that the tax revenues from these 649 condos as our revenues. That's basically what we're going to get from all the investments. Let's see, is it a good deal? The city claims it's a great deal. On slide 18 of their presentation, Emily Archer claims that over 20 years, the taxpayers will make $18 million. NPV, net present value. It's a financial term for, in today's dollars, how much is that? How much are we going to make? Emily Archer claims $18 million. I looked at that, but it looked bogus to me. Let me explain. First thing, let's kind of get some more facts on the table. The golf club is supposed to be sold for 17.94 million. But we never get the 17.94. We just give it back to the developer to develop their private land. So our sales proceeds is going to them. So we're not getting the money. The only way we're supposed to get that is in their future tax revenues of 3.4 million. We don't get 17.94. So it doesn't matter. We'll give it back to you and we'll recover it later from the $3.4 million in annual tax revenues. That's the private public partnership. But another problem, and this is the biggest problem, and this is the argument Stacey and I had on Tuesday. In their projections, when they get this $18 million of net present value, the thing is that they count this $3.4 million in tax revenues from these 659 units, but they assume that the city, it's not going to cost the city anything in providing city service. Remember, there are 200 schools, there are 1,300 people who will move there, 200 school kids, so kids have to go to school. They need to be school teachers. We need to, whatever they add classrooms, whatever. We need extra firemen, you need police. But we are already short of police. Remember, they had shut down the beach because they couldn't provide security. And they had shut down the ocean front. So clearly we need more police. And anytime we talk to Hutchison, he says they are short on firemen. So they count for nothing for that. $0 for the incremental cost of providing city services to these 1,300 people. So what I did is I said, let me do some back of the envelope, simple calculations. Okay. And Stacey can come at me and say this is not sophisticated enough for them, but let's do some simple math. Simple math. Right now, the city spends $2.8 billion in total per year across. So if you just divide it across all the citizens of Virginia Beach, that comes to $6,200. Yeah, when you add 1,300 people, there are obviously some costs which are fixed. I know that. Everybody knows that. Not every citizen has to kind of add some additional stuff. So there's some fixed costs. But really, there has to be some additional costs, what we call in economics marginal costs. When you add people, you need to spend something more on these people. So as a rough estimate, I said, let's take half of that. Let's take out half of 6,200, 3,100. Let's call that as like the variable cost. Cost is going to, the additional cost is going to have for the city by adding more people. So that's for my simple math. I just said, let's do 3,100 times the 1,300 people who move here. That comes to $4 million per year. So I didn't take the entire 6,200, and Stacy was getting all upset. I did not take it. I just took half of it. They say, can't be zero. The city takes zero. And I said, let's take something. Let's take half of 6,200 and call that as the additional cost of providing city services to people who are going to come in. Firemen, police, schools, etc. Okay. So that's my basic calculation. That's a back of the envelope calculation. If you don't like it, then the city has to do more sophisticated analysis. They have more staff, right? Okay, this is another slide which I kind of put it out. In fact, I sent out a lot of emails. This slide 15 of the city's presentation, and I poked so much fun at this slide. Interestingly, on Tuesday when Emily represented this thing, she took out this slide. It doesn't appear in the slide anymore because even they're embarrassed about this slide. And let me explain why. If you look at this slide here, this black line is supposed to be the cumulative cash flow from this deal. Notice it's never negative, it's positive all the time. So according to them, it breaks even. Whether we break even in year 2, it's positive. It's a win-win, always a good deal. And clearly that's wrong because if you look at slide 19 of Emily's presentation, they say the break even is between 8 and 10 years. So that this thing kind of conflicts with this graph. So I don't know where they got this graph. Clearly, there's a math mistake. Something is wrong. It doesn't make sense. The other thing is that if you look at these green lines, which are the cash inflows, in year 0, 19.2 million. Remember the money which we never got? They count as an inflow. We never got it. And at the same time, they count the tax revenues as inflow. Aren't we double counting here? This is the wrong money we never got it, but we are supposed to get it here. They count this and this. So this graph is very pretty. And this is the part Emily put it up on that day, and everybody was so impressed. Jennifer saw this slide and said, "Oh, wonderful! It's such a great deal." So it seems like an obvious thing. So they put a fast on the city council, and they showed the slide to the city council, argued it's such a great deal. We make $18 million. Look at this; it's all positive. No negative cash flows. So we have tax revenues from these 1,300 people, but they cost nothing. There's no corresponding cash outflows for providing city services. It doesn't make past the sniff test. No common sense here. And you don't need to be a PhD. Anybody can know that, hey, you add more people, you need to cost you something, right? The city has to cost you something. So, but Stacy argues otherwise. He's still upset. So, by the way, just for you to know, on Tuesday, I would like to continue the discussion. I'm going to speak again, and I would like to have a response from Stacy. So that discussion continues. So all you guys be prepared for my response to Stacy in a public forum with everybody there. Because that day we got cut off. So I want Stacy, I'll give one more opportunity to Stacy to explain himself. Yeah, exactly. Bring what? Oh, I don't need to do that. I'm going to just present. Oh. Okay. So, so I did my game. I admit it. This is simple back of the envelope calculations. And they had nothing. They didn't provide any analysis. So based on their numbers, I did my own projections over these 20 years. And the main thing here is that I added the cost of city services. So basically, I assume that at present cost $3,100, the is 1,300 people, $4 million in present day dollars. So, and that kind of increases over time at 3%. That's the implicit estimate I have for the cost of city services. So I have that, and the rest of the numbers are all pretty much from what they had. So I have the sale from the golf club sale, and I put in the contributions from the city, the 91.76, the 17.9, and so on. So, in fact, I even give them credit for the $7.7 million if they supposedly say. Remember that they say, if one of the arguments is that if we don't sell, we hold it on ourselves, it costs us $7.7 million. So I'm saying, okay, if you sell and you save that money, I even give them credit for that. So anyway, I don't need to go into all these numbers line by line. Bottom line, what is the net present value? What is the cumulative cash flow in today's dollars? Over 20 years horizon, my estimate is that it's going to cost the city negative $22 million. That means the city is going to lose $22 million on this deal using some simple assumptions. It's not positive 18, it's negative 22. Stacy can quibble about it, but let's have an honest accounting. And they have in their accounting they completely ignore this. This line item is totally missing in their analysis. And that's how they get positive. It's always positive. And the other thing is they don't take into account, and it's important. If we held on to the golf club, right now their city and the VBDA is making a profit. We're giving up on those profits. Remember, we make almost $300,000 per year. That's a cost. You give up on your land, you're not going to make any profits. The profits are going to them. So we are going to give up on their profits, which we have been making right now. So that's foregone cash flows is also a cost. Okay. So you got, as I'm saying, this is a simple financial account. So if you do all this, my estimate is that it's negative 22 million. At least it should be in that ballpark. You can quibble about the numbers and our assumptions and so on. But the burden is on them to tell me why is this wrong and why are they upset. And Stacy was trying to argue there's no additional cost, but it's moving from Kempsville to this area. My question is, if that just people are moving from one part of the city to the other, then where are the revenues coming from? Because clearly we can't double count the revenues, right? They're paying taxes in Kempsville and now they move here. So then there's no additional revenues of 3.4 million. So they take into account the revenues, but want to ignore any costs. So this is a basic argument Stacy and I have, is that you got to account for these costs of services. And they just moved from Kempsville. Now the apartment or wherever they're moving from Kempsville is not going to be empty. Somebody else has to move in there. We're not going to have any empty room, but there's a shortage of houses. So we're not going to have any vacant houses. So if people move from Kempsville, somebody else will move into that house. So next, we're going to add more people. You add more people. Simple, exactly. You don't need a PhD. I'm telling you. It's simple. It's simple. But Stacy still argues with me that I'm wrong and he's right. So let's kind of continue the debate on Tuesday. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Otherwise, yes. No, per year. This is the growth. Yes, per year growth. Yeah, for long revenues and costs. Sure, just an average, just average growth in revenues and costs over time. Yeah, it could be, but its average is in and out. But average takes into account things like inflation and the growth of the economy, and so that's not built into my estimates for profits and for the revenues because these revenue estimates are coming from them. I didn't make the revenue estimate. They came up with the tax revenues.
So these numbers from
As best as I can. I'm trying to reconstruct their numbers because I don't have all the time. I'm just trying to base on their slides and what they've said.
But that would allow.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be voted on
Tuesday. It is on the agenda. In fact, Walter just said the text saying that is on the city as agenda. It will be voted on Tuesday. So we need to start with. So All that we are asking is defer the vote, do your own analysis. If Stacy doesn't like it, and he disagrees with me, that's fine. I'm saying, don't take my numbers, my word. Do your own analysis. Right now, you have done no analysis. You kept telling me, I'm going to just ignore the cost of citizens, assume it's zero. That doesn't make any sense. Yes, sir. I did not. Let me explain. What happened was on Monday at the town hall, I presented this. And then subsequently, I think on last Tuesday or Wednesday, I did email these PowerPoints to City Council. I said, here are my numbers and take that into account. So they didn't respond to me. No, but Stacy did respond to me on Tuesday. So I think they are upset, but they don't know how to respond to me. And I had a few email, oh, this one. Emily Archer did respond to me, and she said, she admitted the cost of city services is not there, but she said, we'll do that analysis after the deal is approved. After the deal is approved, she said, we have one more year. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So basically, she said, pass it before you find out. So let's pass it, let's approve it, and then we have one more year. We'll do all this. She said, for the rezoning, we need to go through all this. And so at that time, we'll come to it. And she said, I don't. So essentially, she said, we don't have the numbers. It's too much sophisticated. It's too detailed, too complicated. So they're not going to make any analysis at all. I mean, very simple back of the envelope. Do something, right? Do something. But they are doing nothing, and they want us to approve it on Tuesday. And it will be it will go through because the city council is so gung ho on it. They'll put. But the thing is, that my only problem is that if you really don't know what you're talking about, why do you sell this deal as an $18 million profit? That is me. This slide is dishonest. Because I agree with you, it's complicated, you don't know. Then why is Emily Archer telling everybody that the city is a win-win deal, it's going to be $18 million? I don't blame people. People don't understand all this stuff. They're going to just say the city staff knows what they're doing. In fact, that's what they told me. In fact, you know what Councilman Hutchinson told me? He said, oh, we have sophisticated staff. They know what they're doing. You got to trust them. Trust them. Trust them.
And they fail to do it on purpose for all this to happen.
Yeah.
So where they go to keep it?
Well, they were using it for other projects.
Yeah.
Buying up more land and stuff. Emily Archer is the director of economic development. No, she's not BPDA. BPDA is separate. Emily Archer is the director of economic development. Actually, acting director, that's right. Acting director of economic development. She's a city employee. She's in charge of the economic development department, and she made this presentation. And I feel sorry for her. These numbers didn't come from her. No, she's not that bright, and she's very nervous. You see what she's so nervous, and she's so scared. She didn't come up with these numbers, so I feel bad at that. In that, I don't know. Stacy thinks he's right.
What the city will get after a period of time.
Oh, no, over 20 years.
Over 20 years.
That I'm not saying that there's some. Oh, hundreds of millions. We're not even counting that. In a way, I don't care. Look, the free country, somebody wants to make money, it doesn't bother me. As long as we don't lose money. Exactly. That's right. So somebody else asked me the same question on Monday, how much are they will make? Hey, if they make a lot of money, more power to them. Free market economics. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, but they're making money off
That is what we should be worried about. The thing which concerns me. This one. Yeah. So the thing which concerns me is the negative 22 million. Okay, might not be negative 22, it might be negative 15, negative 10, whatever. It is certainly not positive 18 million. And that is my point. Okay, because you were taking zero marginal cost. And that is what Stacy is very stubborn about it. He says, oh, people move around, no cost, no additional cost. Then there's no additional revenue either. You can't have it both ways. You can't count the additional revenues. That means you're assuming somebody's coming in. Surely somebody's coming in here because you're not going to have any, to build 1,300 homes. You're not going to have empty homes. Somebody's going to move from somewhere into the city. Then you need to provide city services. Simple logic. Oh, that's a good question. If it's such a great deal for, why should we subsidize it? And this goes back to the Cavalier Hotel and the Boutique Hotel, or we have a, this is the philosophy, and this is where you got to blame our own Republicans. They confuse free market economics with corporate welfare and crony capitalism and so on, because they really don't know. They think, the Mayor Dyer said that, oh, we are pro-business party. No, we are not. We are not a pro-business party. We are a free market economics. The free market is pro-business. Yeah, pro-business. He thinks giving money to his rich friends is free, pro-business and being free market. Yes, sir.
So obviously, potential risk of double counting there, internal relocation from Kempsville to the golf course complex. But just like there is that marginal, those marginal costs that are incurred and not covered in that presentation from the city, are there not also marginal gains being made with 1,300 people? Even if it's to the condos, you'd expect them to be white collar professionals with families, students that would require again those teachers, but that would also presumably also bring in business taxes, income taxes, additional stuff that would potentially, and again, the issue here is lack of transparency process that could very well offset at least some, if not most, city service.
You know what? It's not my job to do this. The city's not going to do this. Income tax, the city doesn't have to. You don't make. Yeah, there might be some money from single tax, but it's not there in their analysis. They only put the 3.4 million in their analysis. Let's do honest accounting. I'm not saying this project is bad. Do honest accounting. Prove to us that it's a good deal right now. Only thing they have right now is this slide. 18 million.
That's just like, and I didn't know if you had any of the back of the napkin math on those on the potential positive marginal gains.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Well, and again, you're not city council. It's not your job. Yeah. But I just didn't know if there was any side of that.
I don't know. Look, let them come. Let them respond. All that I said is take some costs. Okay, they want to add revenues. That's fine. Let them do the analysis. They're not doing an analysis. We're going to approve this deal without sufficient analysis. That's all I said. I said incomplete analysis. Listen to my talk on Tuesday. I said it's incomplete analysis.
We have a phone call question from Pilar. I'm going to just put it on speaker. Pilar, ask your question.
Okay, hi, Venkat, thank you so much. My question is, who knows, I reached out to the city attorney, the city manager's office. I also reached out to Barbara Henley, Calvern Green, and Stacy Cummings. So what I gathered is that this mysterious staff, advisory staff, that told them the Dragonville is what we should go with, I'm trying to find out who are they? Because according to Stacy, he saw all 9 plans, but I don't believe Calvern did. Calvern didn't want to tell me whether he had or not. And Barbara Henley absolutely did not see all 9 of those plans. So how can you advise city council when you don't give them the 3 best plans to choose from, but you take only one winner and say, this is the plan you should go with?
That's a good point, because there are other deals. We don't know what the financials of the other deals are, because in this one, to me, it looks negative, even though they say positive 18. Nobody has seen it. None of the city council members have seen it. There are 7 people in the selection committee, and guess who? They are the same people who were talking to Helen Dragas. The same people who've been talking to Helen Dragas in 2024 are in the selection committee. I don't know, Kathy Warren and Emily Archer and David Shatley. I apparently don't know. It's all city staff, and they don't tell us, and they made this decision, and they didn't. It's all a cooked up deal between them.
It's been reviewed by the same people that do the review process of all 9 proposals are some of the same people that are in the document dump by Chris Taylor. How can you have people that have been working with one developer for 16 months prior to anybody else knowing this deal? And they also get to pick the deals too.
And magically the same, this drug has come to the top. So that doesn't sound right again. And after all these 2 years of analysis, that's all they could come up with. Analysis is so shoddy. So it almost feels like it is engineered to benefit druggers and look like this is good. Right? And like that guy, Ed Augustine. Ed Augustine. He had a bid where they didn't have housing. They didn't have housing. And I do not know how much he offered. And he's guessing it's like 4.5 million or
Yeah,
something.
they redacted all of that.
Right. So I'm guessing he said to just break even the city. So that's what I understand. So it's like 4.5 million. So on the surface, it seems like 4.5 million is less than 79.4. The key thing is that he didn't ask for any money from the city. He said he'll do all the renovations out of his own pocket. So the 7.7 million, which the city would have spent otherwise, he's going to do it himself. So the 7.7 million with the city saved, plus the 4.5 which the city was getting, is what? Almost 12 million. Sure, 12 million is better than negative 22. So there are other deals out there. They didn't consider them. They kind of rejected them, and we really don't know what the other deals are. And Barbara Henley has not been shown. None of them know what is there. So how can they say this is the best deal? And ask them, they say, trust us. The staff is reviewed and they picked it. They're either stupid and don't know how to do the math, or they are not being honest. I don't know what the answer is. Yes. So that's where we stand. You know what? I have a better idea. We should dissolve the BBDA. We need to have a petition to get BBDA. BBDA is at the heart of all these problems. We don't need BBDA. I look at the state law. The state law says that cities may have BBDA. Not required by the city charter. We can choose to get rid of the BBDA. What we should have is a petition to get to the BBDA.
So, I my proposal and all of that, and I'm gonna, of course, say it later, but here's the thing, remember when city council wanted to get a 70% raise?
Yeah.
Last November, just 2 days before Thanksgiving? Anyway, my proposal to city council is that we get rid of all these layers of bureaucracy, because we become an administrative state. We don't become a representative state. We become an administrative state. And that's what we have right now. The elected officials are allowing the administrative, they don't go anywhere. They're allowing their administration to really run this city, and they're not. So if we get rid of all of these, and by the way, every time they say we've met with this group, we've met with them, we've met with the BBDA, we've met with the BBEA. I mean, we went with the Restaurant Association. We've met with the public. We've done all, and by the way, their public meetings are noon on a Wednesday. Hope you can make it. And most of them, not all of them. Right. And when they do their agenda, one guy will get up and talk about everything, and then the public doesn't have as much time to ask questions. So I just want you to know what my suggestion is: get rid of all your layers of bureaucracy and put this as a full-time job. Give the city council members $100,000 a year each, and then allow them to have 3 members of staff. Okay, just like Congress has the ability to have staff, these people have staff, they have offices within City Hall. Let them get paid, but guess what? If you got rid of all, and most of these layers of bureaucracy are paid staff with the city. Okay, and they make 100,000, you think Emily Archer's making 20,000 a year? Okay, so you get rid of the 8 different committees that they claim they talk to, which by the way, most of the same people are on each one of these layers of whatever. And now you've probably saved up $1 million. Just by getting rid of them. We give city council a real paycheck. And by the way, it's gonna come out in another video. This David Hutchins guy on June 16th, it's on record. He doesn't know what stormwater drainage is, and he's a fireman. And the firemen, the Virginia Beach Firemen Association gave him $44,000 for his campaign. Do they know he doesn't know what stormwater drainage is? Maybe get smarter people. Anyway, thank you.
We're talking finance and everything, but environment. Has there been an environment?
No, no, they do everything after it's approved. They said all that will be done at the time of rezoning. That's a complete hard answer. That's fine. If they want.
Any other questions with that bill? Okay.
But we should all speak up on Tuesday again and send emails to them before that. So put pressure on them. Some of them are running for office. Stacey Cummins is running for office. So he's pretty arrogant, but you gotta let them know that he's running against Chris Taylor. True. Write to them. Show up, you say, email them and kind of you know what? You gotta gently remind them they're running for election and they might lose. Hey, Josh is running against John Moss. Stacey is running against Chris Taylor and I'm sorry, Remick, and RK is running against Remick. So I mean, so these are all the people we should target. And by the way, one person who's there who might be kind of supportive of us is Jennifer Rouse, the Democrat. Jennifer Rouse is more receptive to us than anybody else. She's a more honest woman there. Okay? She can be staff. Democrat, exactly. Exactly. Right. That's right. There are the 2 people who have not taken money from Helen Brackets, Barbara and Jennifer Rouse. Okay? Those are our key base people we can appeal to. But then there are other people we can gently threaten. One more, huh? She doesn't care. I don't think she cares.
Oh, she don't care.
Okay, that's right. So each one of us has to contact them and let them know that people are upset because in a way they think they don't care. They have to face the voters this November. You know, that's the thing. Somebody, I think Rick Boyles said that there are 10 part-time employees and they give us all full-time jobs. Because there's so much stuff going on here. boutique hotel, every week, there's so many things going on there, a lot of. Mhm. Correct. Mhm. Right, right. Mhm. Hey, we are going to pay for it. It's negative 22 million, we're not going to pay for it. So everybody should care. Right, right. So they're giving our land for free to somebody else. So everybody should do. So what does the city council? So the three people who were in this backroom deal were what? Rosemary, Bobby Dyer, and Baruchi. All Republicans, and these are the three who got the most money from Helen Drivers. What did we pack? The most money Helen Drivers gave are these three, and these are the three people who were in these backroom conversations from 2024. So it's just a random occurrence. There's a pattern there. So it's legal, but you know what? It's legal. Unfortunately, legal in Virginia, take money and do these deals. So, but they don't recuse themselves. They don't recuse themselves. They should. If I was a city council, I would have said that if I take money from anybody and if there's a project in front of me, I would recuse myself. Hey, when I was working in Wall Street, we couldn't take $100 gift from a potential client. I had to be so careful. Here, anything goes. Anything goes. They don't have any ethical rule. Might be legal, but it's not ethical. They can accuse themselves. They don't. So that's what we are. So we have to let them know that we have caught on to them. So we need to send emails, show up on Tuesday. I'm going to show up on Tuesday, and I'm going to continue my conversation with Stacey Cummings. Okay, so I want you to.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. What a great speech too, and how enlightening. So yes, we need to be there Tuesday. It starts at 6. So I recommend you get there at 5:45, so you pick your favorite seat.